Welcome to World Top 1. For lovers of tourism, and not only those who use air travel, it is certainly no secret what takeoff and landing is and how dangerous they can be. And who is this main enemy of the huge Boeing Kings of Heaven? And how they get rid of these creatures in what ways, and what measures are taken to combat them. Perhaps you will be surprised who exactly makes the takeoff of the plane so dangerous. Friends, support the channel, subscribe and like, and enjoy your viewing. The bird is one of the most dangerous enemies of the plane. According to ICAO, more than 15,000 aviation incidents related to bird strike. A collision of an aeroplane with birds occur annually in the world, and this despite the fact that 80% of them do not get into the reports. That is, the number can be safely multiplied by 5. In the United States alone, the number of bird strikes is estimated at 13,000 annually. Fortunately, thanks to the efforts of aircraft designers, this leads to disasters infrequently, about 1 time per 1 billion flight hours. But every year, civil aviation around the world loses about $1.2 billion due to damage that aircraft receive from birds, from dents in fairings before decommissioning after crash landings in cornfields. The most common damage is to engines and cockpit glass. The most dangerous are flocking birds, for example seagulls, and large ones, for example geese. About 85% of all bird strikes occur at altitudes up to 100 meters. Of course, some geese can climb to an altitude of 10 kilometers. That is, they fly at the same echelons as planes. But there are few such heroic geese, and their routes usually do not coincide with airways, so the probability of collision is small. But near the land, there are lots of birds of all kinds. Below 100 meters, this is respectively takeoff and landing. At such altitudes, the plane is only in the airfield area. Therefore, aerodrome services are engaged in scaring birds away. Alas, there is no 100% working method. The birds are still rather stupid and believe that the 31st article of the Constitution allows them to gather peacefully and without weapons anywhere and anytime. Therefore, you have to use special equipment. Food restriction. First of all, birds fly to where they can find any food. Therefore, the lawns between the runways and taxiways are planted with special types of grass that birds do not eat. For example, geese are known to love plantains, nettles, and dandelions. They also mow the grass so that it is not too high and too low, since tasty insects and seeds are already beginning to appear in the tall grass, and it is convenient for birds to sit on the low one. There can be no open garbage cans on the territory of the airport, and in the immediate vicinity, they try not to make open dumps and garbage cans. And to combat waterfowl, natural reservoirs are closed with nets and drainage drains are enclosed in pipes. Visual scarers. This method is known to every gardener. Plant a scarecrow in the form of an owl, and the harvest will remain intact. And on the bushes, my grandmother hung foil and cans. Birds do not like objects that reflect light. Disco balls have proven themselves at airports. They are hung on poles about 1.5 meters from the ground. In the dark, laser scarers are effective. They form moving beams that birds do not like. Sound scarers. Birds are afraid of harsh sounds, so gas crackers can often be found at airfields. A certain amount of propane is ignited in them, creating a pop of up to 130 decibels. Modern models are even equipped with bird detectors and are triggered only when they arrive. Simpler devices are activated manually or on a schedule. Pyrotechnics or signal flares and firing with blank cartridges are also used. The bird watcher on duty constantly monitors the airport, bypassing it and also with the help of cameras. However, some birds sooner or later get used to noises and cease to be afraid of them. The bioacoustic method is also widely used. The calls of birds of prey are reproduced through the speakers. However, some also get used to these screams. In addition, it does not work against the birds of prey themselves. Therefore, in recent years, they have been using the alarming cries of crows. Many birds know him and believe that since the crow is in danger, then it is advisable for them to get out. Chemical repellents. These methods also come from agriculture, where methylanthranilate and anthraquinone have been sprayed for a long time. In some countries, these substances are prohibited because they are carcinogenic. Relocation and shooting. In the presence of large nesting sites of birds near the airport, they can be artificially transferred to another place, which is rather difficult given the need to capture. A less environmentally friendly way is shooting. So, in the early 90s, in the vicinity of John F. Kennedy Airport in New York, over 28,000 gulls were destroyed in 2 years, which reduced the number of collisions with them by 89%. Predator birds. In some at the airports in Russia, these are Pulkovo, Domodedovo, Vnukovo, Strigino, Saratov Centralny, and there will be more of them in the new Gagarin, as well as Makhachkala and Krasnodar. Trained hunting birds are working, falcons and hawks. Their task, however, is not to catch all of the uninvited guests, but to scare them. The conditional crow sees that the case smells of kerosene and prefers to retire, notifying everyone else. Moreover, in the case of a hunt, the falcon can chase the victim for a very long time and then not find the way back to the airport. By the way, not only flocks of birds, but also swarms of insects, primarily locusts, pose a danger to the aircraft. There are enough cases when, after a collision, the cockpit glass turned out to be completely covered up, depriving the pilots of any visual reference points. The engines lost power, and the tubes for measuring the speed turned out to be clogged and stopped working.